Today is June 29th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. Brought to you each and every day by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganast St. Louis Acura. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer Cardinals lose last night 10-7 on one of our other shows here on Claibs Online. Good Nightingale, Mike Claiborne, Bob Nightingale of USA Today talked about that game. And I believe it was Claibs that kind of put it down as one of the worst losses of the season for the Cardinals in a long list of losses. I'll use the term from the Simpsons movie that I just watched on my flight the other day. Worst loss of the season so far.
Well, and there have been several. I think when you look at the relativity of the time of the year, how you'd been playing, what you're trying to accomplish, and how as you're moving, you're slowly climbing up the hill, and all of a sudden the bridge is out and you go over and down. Yeah. So when you put it in that kind of context, it's hard to argue.
The loss came on the hands of Giovanni Gallegos in the eighth inning. Just really got hit around hard in that inning. Gave up a 5-run spot in that eighth and cost the Cardinals the game. And afterwards, Ollie was pressed by the media in regards to why he chose to go with that, why he stayed with him so long. And I know some of the comments that he made have kind of drawn a few questions and drawn some criticism amongst the media for that. I don't know where else you go in that situation yesterday based on how quick everything happened.
Yeah, I thought Ollie's answers were good. The tone was maybe that of a guy who dealing with a bad team and a media day after day kind of wears you out. He went to his setup guy. And for those who don't think you should have a setup guy, I'd like to manage against you. Players, in particular bullpen guys, but players in general, love to have roles. And in fact, when doable, listen to that, when doable, need roles. They know how to prepare, know how to do what they're doing. I think most of us reasonable types would say Gallegos had earned the setup role. He sucked. He blew it. Next topic. There's no other real things to talk about. Why didn't you get him out after the first home run? Well, because you have to have a guy warming up to get a guy out of the game. Mm-hmm. And that takes time. If you're planning on disaster, then don't put the guy in the first place. Then folks would say, why not leave Stratton in? Well, because you have an eighth inning guy. You have a setup guy. You just can't keep changing the rules. If you pitch a guy to failure, well, then you've managed to failure. You don't want guys to fail. That's the point. So to me, that's kind of the look. I think it was a little disappointing. It concerned me mildly, even though the Cardinals had a lead. I think it was the fourth inning when the Cardinals had the first two on, bunted over, perfect strategy, got the walk, bases loaded, one out, and then your 3-4 hitters back-to-back pop up. Man, oh man, that is soul crushing. Now, you had the lead, you probably forget about it, you move on, but you look back, wow, even if you could have gotten one more run in the fourth, maybe it changes your fortunes. Then again, maybe not. Who knows?
Cardinals lose the game at 10-7, and tonight they will play an earlier start time, 6:15 start time for the night game, the 3-game finale against the Houston Astros. And here is what those lineups will look like. Brought to you by Bootleggin' Tavern and Bootleggin' Third Gear, which is located at Second Shift Brewing, where Andy Hanselman and I tonight are going to go up there and record this week's edition of Weekend Joe.
Nice.
Third Gear serving bootlegging pizzas, including the toasted ravioli pizza, the Porky's pizza, the taco pizza, and the Bootlegger, a Big Mac style pizza with ground beef, pickles, and special sauce. I'll be sure to let you know which ones we tried tomorrow here on the show. It's JP France going up against Adam Wainwright. More on Wainwright in just a bit. The Astros line up this way. Jose Altuve is at second base. Alex Bregman at third. Kyle Tucker in right. Jose Abreu at first. Yanier Diaz is behind the plate. Corey Julks is in left. Bly Madras is DHing. Jeremy Pena at short. And Chas McCormick is in center field. For the Cardinals, Brendan Donovan is at second, Paul Goldschmidt at first, Lars Nootbaar in right, Nolan Arenado DHing today. Wilson Contreras is behind the plate, Jordan Walker in left. Back in the lineup, Nolan Gorman at third, Paul DeJong at short, and Tommy Edman is back in center field. Any issues at all with the lineup tonight? The Cardinals are
just trying to figure out. Every day I try to figure out, well, who's platooning now with the righty lefty stuff. So now I guess it's a Carlson Walker platoon. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm looking up and down the lineup here as to who you would take out if you're not platooning those two.
Tommy Edman.
Okay.
Here's what I think. Here's the ultimate question. Who's better offensively, Carlson or Edman? And that's a hard question.
Yeah.
So he's just trying. And I most of my lineup nerd stuff, I'm really not as worked up as I pretend to be, because you got a reason for it, a hot guy, a cold guy, a spin rate, a launch angle, a split, or whatever. But you got two 240 hitters. Both can play center field. Both are switch hitters, but not really good at it. Yeah, pick a guy. You can pick it out of a hat. Does it really matter? No.
Adam Wainwright, he's back on Twitter at Uncle Charlie 50, but he's I just looked it up. He's there. He's his account is active. Has not tweeted anything in the past week. Right now, hasn't done really anything on there.
It's probably on behalf of Big League Impact charity, where he has to swallow his feelings, rightfully so, hurt feelings, and say, I just got to plow through the negativity so that Big League Impact gets the benefit of my tweeting.
I mean, the fact that Cardinal fans would act like that. There's people out there. Some people suck. That's in the best way of saying it. And they got to a guy who's not having a year up to his standards in what is announced as his final year after a game that probably meant a lot to him, going over to London and playing in that. And we know the type of guy that Adam Wainwright is, and the type of how he lives for moments like that on the world stage, and was probably really upset with the way he pitched and didn't need people piling on the way they did.
Well, I got to tell you, social media is so negative. And I just don't need it in my life. And I've trimmed it back. Basically, if you follow me, you see puppies, kittens, and Claibs Online. And that's about it.
I think I lost you there for a second there at the end, Rammer, but looking at Adam Wainwright's last starts, we saw the 3 innings he pitched in London, 3 innings, 11 hits, 7 earned runs. You just go down from there, and it's not all doom and gloom for that. I mean, 6 1/3, 3 earned runs. It's
pretty bad. You don't have to apologize.
I'm just saying. You would like to see somewhere along this. You'd like to see him go out there and throw a 7-inning. 2-3 hits, 0. It's at some point you would expect that of him during this season, making his first start all the way back in early May, and it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't clicked yet. Against the defending World Series champions tonight, it's one of those you don't expect it, but
it's another secondary, second or third reason why last night's loss was so bad. You win the game you should have won, and then you say, hey, Waino goes out there, take your best shot, Waino. We already won the series. Now he's got to be the stopper guy to come out and win the series. And it's at this point in his career, it's not fair to ask of him. However, just knowing him, maybe this is the night he steps up and gets it done. Maybe he finds the bite on his curveball. Who knows?
6:15 start time for that one. Rammer, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't talk about history being made last night. The perfect game thrown in Oakland. The first perfect game since August of 2012. Felix Hernandez threw that one. Just so happened, good friend of Claib's Online, Joe West was umpiring that game for that day. It's crazy to think that when you look back at the when you look back at the history of these perfect games, that we haven't seen one in 11 years. And when Felix Hernandez threw that perfect game in 2012, that was the third perfect game of 2012.
That's because perfect games and no hitters are not scientific,
right?
It's just stars crossing and aligning at the right time for the right guy against the right team. There's not a lot of rhyme or reason other than a really great pitcher gets it just right on a given night, or any pitcher. There's some great games by no names, but they have it for a night against the right team that doesn't have it. And so it's just those weird, like I say, star-crossed anomalies in the game that make it kind of fun and exciting.
Rammer, I don't know if you've seen the list of the three pitchers that threw those perfect games back in 2012. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't looked at it.
Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could give you the first three letters of the first and last name of one of the pitchers that threw a perfect game that year, and you still wouldn't get it.
Fair enough.
I could give you the team that he pitched for, and what you're saying though about how much of an anomaly it is, because it was Felix Hernandez, August 15th, 2012. Matt Cain threw one June 13th of 2012, and then on April 21st, Rammer, for the White Sox, first three letters in the first name are PHI. The first three letters of the last name HUM.
Phil Humphrey.
No, Philip Humber.
Oh, it's close.
Right.
Well,
I would hope you'd be close given everything.
The reason I said that, I was had the good fortune of calling a big league no hitter. Was that
Bud Smith or Jose Jimenez?
The loser in the game was Randy Johnson.
Okay.
And Jose Jimenez beat Randy Johnson. Didn't just beat him, which is sort of miracle all its own, but threw a no-hitter. And so that just goes to show you that there's a certain level of randomness that goes to those things.
That was I was actually talking to somebody about the Jose Jimenez no-hitter earlier today, because we were talking about Cardinals and no-hitters and that, because I think what was he threw a no-hitter against Randy Johnson. You could, to go out there and do that, absolutely incredible. But the very next start for both men, Jose Jimenez and Randy Johnson, Jose Jimenez went out there again and threw a complete game two-hitter and beat him again 1-0.
Yep.
In back-to-back games.
I did those games. It was amazing.
Jose Jimenez won 5 games that season. 2 of them were back-to-back 1-0 complete games against Randy Johnson.
Really a strange career. He goes to the Colorado Rockies, can't hack it as a starter, ends up having one good year as a closer, and then sort of disappeared into the pages of the baseball encyclopedia.
Were you on the call for Bud Smith too?
No, I was not.
Okay. So that was 2001, right? I believe that was September 3rd, 2001 for Bud Smith. The last time that a St. Louis Cardinal has thrown a no-hitter 22 years ago. Rammer, tomorrow the Yankees are in town for a 3-game series here at Busch Stadium. Tickets still available for some of the games this weekend. You get those now at cardinals.com. Until then, Rammer, we are brought to you each and every day by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri.
Royal Banks, over 60 years banking in the metro area, St. Louis, the east side, Jerseyville and Granite, St. Charles County, and all the way in northeast Missouri with 3 locations, and each one feels like your hometown branch. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. Back tomorrow with Daily Cards Live. Preview the weekend series against the Bronx Bombers right here on ClaibsOnline.com.
At St. Louis Acura, we have over 100 new Acura models and over 160 pre-owned models in stock or on the way in May. Get 4.9% financing for up to 60 months on 2023 Acura MDXs, TLXs, Integras, and RDX models. Or get a certified rate as low as 3.49% on certified TLX and MDX models. And you can earn up to $1,500 in loyalty incentives. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.